Live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Purdue White versus Cougars. We should be starting relatively soon. The players haven't made the lobby yet, so we're just going to be hanging out here. But I am one of your two hosts, Elliot.
Hello, I'm Viper.
And yeah, so we're, as I said, we're waiting for. Oh, looks like they're going in the lobby now. So. We'll be in that shortly, but me and Viper were just talking before the stream started about Stadium and our some of our experiences with Stadium. So sorry, Viper, you can continue from where you were talking before.
But yeah, I haven't played Stadium until now. I played it season 1, but I literally did it just to get all the the player titles and stuff like that. But otherwise, I didn't really touch it. Now it's just been more fun with the Kiriko clone builds.
Yeah, absolutely. I like Stadium just because I feel like there's so many more ways to play than there is in typical Overwatch. So that's always really nice. But
I don't know. I would low-key like to see Stadium come to the competitive the organized comp world. It's just so, I feel like it'd be so hard to set up.
it would. It definitely would. It's a lot harder to balance stuff like that. But I mean, obviously, League of Legends has a huge competitive scene, right? And I think in a lot of ways, League of Legends is very similar to Overwatch Stadium. So it's not that it's impossible, but definitely would take some effort.
I don't know about Rivals. How does Rivals function similar to Stadium? Because I know Rivals is in that third person, but that's all I really know.
Yeah. That sorry. I'm texting with the other people in the group. Are you online right now?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I completely forgot that you're on a different account than typical.
Yeah. This is what happens when I use a different computer.
So the Cougars are shoot. Well, what's the Cougars from?
The college.
Yeah, the college. I looked it up before the Cadwell.
Cadwell University. They're in Cadwell, New Jersey. They're a private college.
Oh, New Jersey. Okay. Well, I'm currently in Delaware, so I'm probably closer to the Cougars than, well, I'm definitely closer to the Cougars than I am the Boilermakers at the moment, but
No, I was trying to find some fun facts about their college, but I haven't really found much.
like they've got a popular.
Apparently, they're the #1 college town in New Jersey.
How many college towns are there in New Jersey? I feel like that's not much of a flex.
I'm from New York, so probably not very many. I don't know. I've been to Jersey once.
Jersey's a pretty small state. But that is good all the same. Good for them. I wonder where your Purdue ranks in best college towns. Best college town, Indiana. Do we think it's better than IU, or do we think
they're number 10 in the top 20 apparently?
In the top 20 in Indiana?
Just top 20 of college towns.
Like nationally?
Yep, Lafayette, Indiana.
Okay.
It seems, yeah, because some of these are
Hey.
Yeah, Virginia. Personally, one of my favorite college towns is actually Athens, Ohio. I really like their campus.
Unfortunately, it looks like IU did rank higher than us on the college town list.
Dang.
So maybe we don't want to talk about that list too much.
I've been to a lot of different college campuses. I really like how Purdue's is set up, though. I like that you have like still like kind of that more like town-ish feel, but then you have like the city on the outside of like things you can go do.
Right. Yeah, I feel like it's a very very nice quaint city. I recently have started a PhD program at University of Delaware, and it's nice, but there is a lot of things that I feel like I took for granted on Purdue's campus. It's kind of got everything you need. It's very walkable. Um, like the fact that they've got so many of those like massive sidewalks that like used to be roads that just go through the middle of campus through all the buildings that you can just kind of walk through all that. Really nice.
Yeah. That's the one thing I liked whenever I chose Purdue was like the amount of like walking you could do. I found it hard to get bored here.
Yeah, that's fair, especially for which is a statement to make when you are in a town in the country surrounded by cornfields. It's not a easy statement to make, but it's true. You're right.
I don't know. Like I I've been to Penn State's campus. I like that campus. I don't think anything has the same like I don't know, it just doesn't feel the same as Purdue.
I actually have also gone to Penn State's campus, ironically enough, when I was looking for places to go for my PhD. Why did you go to Penn State campus?
There's so they don't host it there anymore, but like every year they used to host something called Survival Fest on Penn State's campus. It's a group of like Penn State alumni and now a bunch of like other people, and they just host a big Humans versus Zombies game. They hosted that the first year I went, but now they've moved it to Ohio in the most recent years.
Sorry, a big humans versus zombies game? What I've never heard of this before. That's wild.
So, for context, like the Nerf community is like huge. So like Dart Blaster games, and so Humans versus Zombies just one of the games that like people will go and play. And so like you have your human team and your zombie team, and basically the zombies try to grow. It's a 3-day event, and so once you die as a human, you're done, and you have to play as a zombie. But yeah, it's a 3-day event, and it is a long event.
Are zombies like I'm assuming that the humans
Yeah.
have Nerf guns and the zombies don't?
Yep.
Or okay.
Zombies just tag you with their hands or poo noodles. Like poo
Well,
noodles are like another thing because we use them as like an extension of our arm.
okay. And
It's a
if you get
wild
shot
time.
as a zombie, are you out for a duration of time, or are you out period, or how does that work?
Uh, you have unlimited lives as a zombie. Typically, the spawn timer is like 2 to 3 minutes, but you have to be like so far away from like a group of like humans.
That's so interesting. It sounds like a lot of fun, honestly. Like a 3 day long game of um gun tag, essentially. That's cool.
Yep.
That's really interesting.
Like a lot of people like will 3D print stuff. Like I have a whole wall of 3D printed stuff.
3D printed what?
Like Nerf blasters.
Oh, cool.
It's a wild it's a wild time. And like the nice part about a lot of those events is they're completely free to go to. Like free
Huh.
to attend.
That's so fun. Man, I'm not that far from Penn State right now. Maybe I need to go to the next survival festival.
I think they're gonna have it in Athens again this year, so they'll be in Ohio again.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a little bit farther of a drive, but that's not terrible.
Yeah. I drove it from New York the first time. It wasn't
Okay.
actually that bad. Like it's not bad from Purdue. It's I think 5 hours from Purdue. But no, like these events happen all over the place. Like one of the ones that I do outside of Purdue is we have like one up in Milwaukee area, and like next year we're gonna rent out like a whole summer camp for 3 days.
Sounds like fun.
Like it's just wild stuff.
That's
Play
super cool.
Overwatch in real life. But less so. More like COD zombies.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Seems like the game is a little slow to start at the moment. There may be some confusion on the side of Cougars. A little bit of banter going on, but hopefully we should get started soon.
Oh, we should share with our audience what we learned last week about map picks.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, so like if you've been tuning in weekly, every week so far, we have been extremely wrong about one particular thing and been very upset about it. And that one thing is the fact that most esports Overwatch matches start most all of them start with a control map, but then almost always that control map is Lijiang, and every single time that we have casted one of these maps this year, Lijiang has never been picked, and we've been bewildered by that. I'll let you reveal what the reason for that is, Viper.
So, Lijiang is actually not in their map pool. Their options are Nepal, Samoa, and Busan. Or is it Busan? I don't want to pronounce it wrong.
I think it's Busan is how I've
Busan.
always pronounced it, but alas.
Which is
Yeah, so
wild to me that that wouldn't be in the map pool.
yeah, it's always been in the map pool like every time I've played, and so it's not been that our players don't want to play Lijiang, it's just that they can't. So
See, now I can actually like do map predictions because I have a list of kind of what they can choose. I find it interesting. I guess for Flashpoint, they do have Atlas in there, but there's only 3 Flashpoint maps. Oh, Cougars are banning Hazard, and Purdue bans Echo.
I haven't actually been looking at the crew profile. Do we know who it was that plays Echo that they were trying to target ban?
One of them doesn't have their profile public, so
It's supposed to be public. I guess I wonder if it's not a target ban, because I'm not seeing anybody on their team that particularly plays Echo. So maybe it's just that Purdue doesn't want to play against Echo this week, which is fair. Echo can be a little goofy. I feel like in I believe it was this most recent patch, Echo got a change to her perks that made it so that one of her minor perks now allows her to gain 50% ult charge of the person she's targeting with her ultimate. In that, like, when she ults and she copies someone else for a duration, she automatically starts with 50% of her ult gained, and that's kind of really strong in my opinion. And I feel like I've seen a lot more Echo being played since that change, just because it almost guarantees that you can get that. And that was not true before. So.
See, I always found Echo to be like one of the weaker, not weaker DPSs, but like it's interesting. She's not often picked. Like I forget that she exists in the game a lot until like I've picked her like a few times in like more recent months.
Well, I think she's an interesting DPS too, because she's one that doesn't work in the same way that most DPS do. In that the echoes that I've seen that are more successful typically are echoes that don't actually fire at the enemy team unless they are like point blank range behind one of the supports, and then they just do that sticky bomb combo with the beam to one shot somebody. And it's just the fact that Echo is so quiet, she can end up getting away with more if she is silent than if she is just kind of spamming like most other DPS are doing during that game.
Yeah.
Which leads to a different type of playstyle for sure.
The most popular like Echo player I've seen more recently is someone who goes like calls themselves Brat Echo and like will sing Charlie XCX songs as they play Echo.
That's pretty funny. I've never heard of that person before, but so we're seeing Purdue come out on tried and true comp. Only difference from typical is that LTW was on Junker Queen instead of Hazard, but we know that's because Hazard was banned by the Cougars. So see if he can bring the same thunder with that.
I'm curious to see LT play Queen because we haven't seen them play Queen yet.
I don't think we have either. Yeah, I agree. So that'll be interesting. He is playing Queen into M1's Zarya, which is not typically a great matchup. So we'll see if that becomes an issue. Starting out the first fight, the two teams are going to struggle around the middle. Gabe, the Babe Reaper gets pulled down to 0, has to fade out, but stays alive. Fight's going to move to just kind of playing around this main area. Cougars Soldier finds a pick onto Okatour immediately. Amity finds a pick onto enemy Reaper, and then LTW gets picked off by the Zarya. That's going to lead to a first fight win for Cougars.
I will say they were able to pick off that Junker Queen really early, and so I don't think playing Junker Queen into Zarya is going to be the best move here.
It's just going to be kind of trying to play around those bubbles and seeing if we can get wound damage kind of as soon as those bubbles run out. But that's not an easy thing to do, so we'll see if LTW gets up to the task. Gonna throw out an axe, doesn't get value, but does force the enemy team to back up here. So Purdue's gonna gain a little bit more control of the room. Amity finds a pick onto Gabe. Sumihio returns a pick onto Okatour. Amity finds a second pick onto Werewolf, and Junkrat Trap finds the Lucio before Amity cleans up the Zarya. And that's gonna be second fight goes to Purdue. Oh, the soldier pops visor behind the team. Well, it does lead to a kill on Mercy Gamer Girl, but he does die for it. I'm not really sure if that was the right move. But a trade onto a support isn't bad.
Yeah. I will say playing Junkrat into Zarya is interesting here. You have to be very careful with what you're launching and how you're launching, but Odeker seems to be doing good at not charging up the Zarya.
Amity's not able to find a pick with the overclock, but Sunrise does get popped. Is able to find Libero. Gabe gets taken down as well. LTW falls to the soldier. We have a Wu Ying getting a kill onto Squelks, and Odekur is able to find the Cougars Zarya. Looks like it's stabilizing in favor of Purdue, but not really a clean winner to that fight. Cougars Soldier is looking for a flank on the side. Sorry, go ahead.
I do say Purdue came strong back after that first fight that turned into a loss.
Oh, Odekur pops Junkrat all immediately gets broken down by the soldier. However, Amity is able to find a pick back onto that soldier, but not before Junkrat falls. LTW again falls to that Zarya and Gabe. It really feels like Junker Queen is struggling to work here.
LTW actually fell to the Cassidy.
Right, yeah, I think it was partially though because of the damage from the Zarya in the front. Zarya grab does get popped onto Purdue backline, and that's able to get some staggers out. Junker Queen ult gets popped, probably just because they saw that all the Zarya bubbles were down. It is able to find 2 picks. LTW does fall, but with the trade onto Zarya, I think this is winnable. Amity's able to find another pick onto enemy Wu Ying. trying to follow up onto that. Lucio gets the pick. It's able to get another pick onto Soldier. Wow. Amity cleaned that up very well.
It's been quite back and forth, but Purdue's keeping control of the point as much as they possibly can.
They are. Cougars are going to have to fight to be able to get the touch here. M1 is able to kind of pop bubble just to walk forward on the point. The Lucio ult gets popped as well as Kiriko rush. Gabe pops Cassidy ult. Looking for a pick with that High Noon. Is able to find a pick onto LTW. Mercy Gamer Girl follows up with a pick back onto the Cassidy. Wu Yang ult gets popped onto Soldier. Isn't able to find any value with it. Purdue still has control at this point. Spokes does fall and Amity falls as well. And there's Odakur. That's going to be a fight win for Cougars. Getting into last fight territory here. Soldier ult's going to be popped. Is able to find Odakur. Spokes pops Sunrise. Is able to find Libero. Amity pops Overclock. Is able to get one pick, but actually wasn't able to find any picks. Unfortunately, that's going to be a fight win for Cougars. First point goes to the Cougars.
That was close.
That was really close.
I think Purdue can bring it back in this next round, though. I think they just have to swap off that clean.
Yeah, it's hard when the LTW is getting melted as much as they are. Unfortunately, yeah. Queen really thrives off of being able to kind of get those axes onto the enemy tank and just be able to live off of that sustain, the healing that they get from that. And actually, we're seeing enemy tanks completely swap positions here, where LTW is now swapping onto Zarya. Don't get confused by that. We now have LTW on Zarya, and we now have M1 on Joker Queen. So maybe the reverse will happen. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't totally understand how that happened, but I think matchup is the opposite now.
We see Mercy Gamer Girl switch to Zenyatta.
Yes. Going to be helpful against the Dark Queen, honestly. Odakur teleports up, tries to force the Soldier off of the high ground, isn't able to find the pick, but does get him quite low. Odakur is able to find a pick onto Wu Yang. Immediately, he gets a second pick onto the Soldier, and LTW on the other side gets a pick onto the Junker Queen, and Mercy Gamer Girl follows up with a pick onto the Cassidy. That's going to be a really clean fight win for Purdue. They kind of won a war on two fronts there.
I would say that Zarya swap might be just what they needed. And then the other team swapping to Queen. Oh, right. Now they're back on Zarya.
And M1 is back on Zarya. They realized that, hey, that really didn't work out for LTW last round. I don't want to do the same thing. LTW does get picked off immediately by Werewolf, followed up by a kill from Soldier onto both Spokes and Amity. And Cassidy follows up with a pick on the Mercy Gamer Girl, and Odakur falls last. And it's gonna be another clean wipe, but this time for Cougars. Both teams fighting it out in the middle here. Gabe on Cassidy is able to find a pick on the Spokes in the back line. That's going to kind of spell disaster here, because LTW is not going to fall without the healing from Alari.
Yeah, they're really charging up that Zarya on the team of the Cougars. She's at 100%.
Yeah, just constantly. It is interesting, because we no longer have the Junkrat that usually is the one contributing to that, so we're gonna need to find a way to kind of avoid those bubbles if we want to find a win in this map. We're just gonna go on a flank right here.
They have chosen the perk in which it allows them to get 3 points whenever they use their secondary, so they can just keep that.
We saw a Trans get popped there, a Zarya grab get popped there, a Reaper ult, a Lari ult, and at one point in time, the Zarya ult, the grab was only holding on to this, to LTW, and yet Transcendence was not enough to keep LTW alive there. I don't know if you saw, but they were able to burn LTW down even through the Transcendence, which is kind of crazy.
See, Purdue's taking more of a flank route this time, going around back.
I like this plan. This is a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Overclock gets popped from Amity. The grab comes out as well as Cassidy comes out. LTW drops quite low, so they can't really capitalize on that grab. Odakur finds a pick onto Cassidy at the same time. M1 finds a pick onto Mercy Gamer Girl, and Libero boops off Squelch and follows up on the rest of the team. And it's going to be a map win for Cougars.
I think a Zarya ban is probably going to be next for Purdue here.
I think you might be right.
See, I feel like if you don't have like the right comp, Zarya is such a hard tank to like just kill because of those bubbles. Because it's like you have to be careful which characters you pick.
Right, absolutely. It's tough. I think that. So, another thing that I think kind of was an issue there is that I don't typically think of Zen as being very good into a Zarya, just because it's so easy for the Zarya to clear that Discord orb.
Yeah.
And so Mercy Gamer Girl's switch onto Zen, I think, was great at the beginning when Cougars had that Junker Queen that it was able to get a little bit more value on. But once they swapped over to the Zarya, it's really a hard matchup for them to work there.
Yeah. I also, if I were to pick a Zenyatta, I would always pick a Zenyatta into a tank that is Ramatra. I just feel like you get more value off Zenyatta.
Yeah, I think Ramatra, Hazard, Reinhardt, Orisa, all the tanks that like to kind of sit in front of the team and don't have something to cleanse themselves.
Yeah.
The Discord's great against.
Purdue picks Eichenwald. We haven't seen Eichenwald from them yet. We always see a good King's Row, but they're switching it up this time on us.
I don't mind Eichenwald. Eichenwald is almost as good as King's Row in my book.
Now, if we get a Junkrat on Eichenwald, I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Or like an Ashe, especially on top of that castle. It makes it so hard to push.
100%.
Halloween edition.
Ooh. I think the Halloween version is different in a couple ways, isn't it?
Yes and no. It's slightly different, but
It's
think...
not significant, but
no. It's more like props are changed around to be different things.
Our I always find it funny when teams do the holiday versions of these different maps, because there is a old story about one of our past president in the Purdue Overwatch Club, Rookie, CK Rookie. You know who CK Rookie is, right, Viper?
Yeah, I was on his team for Summer League this year.
Oh, really? Okay, all right. Well,
Yep.
Rookie always had a story that he would tell that I was actually there for, and it was when he was playing the King's Row map on the winter, like, Christmas edition. And there's a couple different differences with the Christmas edition, but one particular difference is that there is a patch of snow in one corner of the map, and it's really not that big of a patch of snow, but Rookie swears that he lost an esports match because of that patch of snow, and so from now on, whenever I've been playing with him, we're not usually allowed to do the holiday maps for that reason. So I always think it's a funny thing when teams use it, because there is those small changes that can, I suppose, make a difference every once in a while. But
I will say on the Hollywood, like more like fall edition or like Halloween edition, it's more fall than it is Halloween. but like those hay bales are a lot shorter than the car that's there.
Yeah, that's true.
And so like I was playing I think a comp game and then it kind of messed me up because I was trying to hide from a Castiel
Right.
and
Right.
so like yeah, I guess like the difference in like those little props can make a big difference.
I think it especially makes a difference when you're not expecting it, cause right, because
Yeah.
you're used to, oh, there's a car here that's tall enough that I can just crouch behind and the Cassidy can't kill me. But when all of a sudden that car is turned into a hay bale that's 5 feet shorter, well, that's not gonna work.
I'm curious where that patch of snow is now.
So it is it's like right next to the first point. So if you're on the first point and you're looking back like towards hotel, and it's on the right side of hotel, it's like in that corner underneath the window. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That in that corner, that there's a patch of snow there, and what had happened was that I believe Rookie was using Winston ult against a Reinhardt, and the Reinhardt was in the middle of an animation of Shatter, and normally the Winston ult would have been able to keep him in the air till the Shatter never came down, and he could just kill him in the air. But because of that patch of snow, the Reinhardt had something to stand on, and so he landed and was able to get that Shatter off. And so there's an argument to that it did actually make a difference, but
Got it. See, I was thinking it would have been like I know he plays like a lot of Widow, and like I thought it would maybe be like something like, oh, this patch of snow got my way when I was aiming, not that he got shattered because of a patch of snow. That's wild. Apparently, Purdue is picking a soldier.
additionally, just for our viewers to be aware, the teams are switching sides right now, so I'm switching the banners to reflect that. But you'll instead see in this round Purdue being on the left side and Cougars on the right.
And then we have a Zen ban from Cougars. I wonder if this is probably their only Overwatch team.
On
So they don't have like
Cougars?
a color. Yeah, a color
Yeah,
after their name.
yeah, I think you're right. I am not going to click on that message. You'll have to let me know if that's.
Just they're saying Cougars ready.
Oh.
But they wrote CUR, so I don't.
Oh, it probably. Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
You never know when you see that message that says could be bad message. I don't know if I want to click on this or not on a stream. I would hope that in an official college esports map, players would not use foul language in the chat, but sometimes you gotta trust the Overwatch chat to control that for you.
I wonder if Overwatch is gonna slightly fix that filter a little bit, because sometimes it blocks out the most random things.
It does sometimes block out random things. I don't really mind that, just because I feel like I'd rather it be on the safe side than allow through things that shouldn't be allowed through, especially if players are as players are in public matches. It can sometimes be a little problematic. But
yeah, the differences here are the 2 wagons or 3 wagons.
Oh, you're right. Why?
So like the
I see the 1, 2. Where's the third one?
The third one is up by where they capture the point.
So I see the one by the point. I see the one next to the choke. Where's the third one?
Towards the enemy spawn doors, and then there's one right by the
Oh, I see. There's
like
actually
one
2
shop.
there.
Yeah.
Right. I suppose the two next to the spawn doors typically don't make too much of a difference because teams don't fight over there. But yeah. the other ones are definitely in prime locations.
Otherwise, I don't think there's any like major. Actually, this little box by the one um, behind the cart. I think that's different too. It's so hard when you've played on the match recently. And we do see that Junkrat coming out from Purdue.
Yeah, as you called it, we'll see if that Junkrat can find the value. LTW is kind of able to isolate M1 here, and is able to find the pick onto there. Werewolf on Lucio is able to find a pick back onto Otakur. Amity is able to follow up with a pick onto Cougars Hana. Werewolf almost boops off Squelks, but a pick from LTW and Mercy Gamer Girl finishes off the Cougars.
We do see a Sombra on the side of the Cougars, so I'm interested to see here what the Sombra's gonna do, if she's gonna try to back cap or not. We see the Lucio sneaking around back. Ignore?
Most of the team has to drop back here, which leaves LTW a little bit by himself, but the team has kind of switched to playing around that right side. The Lucio does come around the back, as you mentioned, is able to boop in Squelks and finish off Squelks by the hands of the Junker Queen. LTW drops quite low without that Ana there, and that's going to make this hold a lot harder to keep. LTW drops quite low. Gabe is able to find a pick on a Mercy Gamer Girl. LTW, Amity fall, and Otakur is going to fall last. It's going to be a cap for Cougars. That was a really cool play, honestly, by the Lucio. Went around the back to boop forward Squelks that was unsuspecting of any heinous actions, and right into the hands of that Junker Queen.
Poor Squelks.
Poor Squelks. I think Mercy Gamer Girl is going to need to play next to that next to Squelks a lot this game in order to keep the Sombra from being an issue. LTW and Amity are able to find 2 early picks onto enemy players, which is going to allow this chokehold to be a little bit easier. Purdue's most likely going to be able to hold a little bit closer than they would normally.
I do like this position that Squelks is in, though. I think this will be very good.
Right. I like this a lot, too. I'm just kind of worried about the Sombra going up the backside. We do see Brig ult and Junker Queen ult come out immediately. M1's able to find a pick onto Otakur, and then next onto LTW using the help of the overclock from Sumio. And then Mercy Gamer Girl falls last. Squelks and Amity are running for their life. I don't think Squelks is going to be able to get out. Yeah, they're chasing Amity, too. The Hazard Wall comes through onto the Sumio, and Junker Queen is able to find a pick on the Sumio immediately, and then follows a pick onto M1. Otakur is then able to follow up a pick onto Gabe. That was a crazy wall. That completely flipped that fight. Now they're just looking for the 2 remaining supports. They find one of them. Aren't able to get Libero before they are able to TP out, but that's phenomenal flip there. That wall changed the course of the fight quite quickly.
I do think they did push in too far, though.
They did. They were not expecting to have that Hazard Wall block them off completely. Looks like
Purdue White took advantage
moving
of that.
around to Mercy Gamer Girl. If able to find the axe, but can't find the pick. Amity uses that time to find a pick onto Sumio. Nana comes through onto Otakur. Werewolf gets slept and gets finished off because of it. Otakur moves forward, is able to find a pick on a Libero. Tries to find M1, but does have to back out, but has that fade, so they can get out, and LTW helps the escape with the wall.
And we see the Sombra slowly creeping up the payload sneakily.
Oh. Well, she was able to get a little bit of progress there. Amity on that time was able to find a good stagger onto enemy Junker Queen.
Ooh, another big difference is like this cart, like here at this push. Typically it has a bush behind it where a Junkrat can like actually hide, and I don't know if they fixed it, but a Junkrat can use a specific emote to like just lay back there, and it will actually stop the cart.
I have seen that before. There's a few emotes in the game that allows you to go basically hidden. But we do see M1 find a pick onto Otakur, followed up by Amity with a pick onto Libero. Sombra drops quite low, but a beat comes out, able to save her from LTW. Somehow, Squelch still finds a pick onto the Sombra. I don't totally understand how, but M1's able to find a pick onto both Purdue supports. Amity follows up with a pick onto Werewolf and M1. Now it's just LTW and the 2 DPS on Purdue trying to finish out the fight. LTW does fall. Otakur pops ult, is able to find the Sombra and almost doesn't die for it. But we know Otakur. And it's a rare day when Odakur can live through an ult, but Amity is able to finish off the other two.
He got the picks though.
He did get the picks. And that's the important part. And we are proud of you for that, Odakur.
But yeah, I have tried that as Junkrat, and it worked as of July of this year.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
Yes,
Well,
it is a good.
not gonna get past. That's cool. That's awesome. Pro strat for any Junkrat players. Libero was able to find a pick onto Odakur. Big hazard ult comes through. Actually, wasn't able to find anybody. Thought it was going to be big. EMP comes through. Overclock comes through onto Amity. Squelks and LTW find picks onto Kiriko and Sombra. But LTW gets picked off by the Ana. Teams are trying to stabilize here. Both DPS and supports are alive from Purdue. Are able to find a nade onto M1, and that's able to finish them off, keeping them from getting healed by that Ana. Big nade, absolutely. Amity finishes that pick on Jerkowin and then finds another pick onto Ashe before Odakur on Genji now is able to finish off the Ana.
They may have one more push if they can get going.
I don't think anybody on their team is mobile enough to be able to touch. Oh, the Pharah. Maybe. I don't know. I think they're getting pushed off.
Nope. And that's the first round.
That was a great hold from Purdue. I feel like that was a lot better of a performance than we saw in the first map.
I think Purdue's really, whenever they have that hazard, LTW is really comfortable on that hazard and is able, and it just works with their whole team comp, I feel like.
Right, absolutely. Oh, I'm realizing we've been getting lots of people in our chat.
Oh.
Rafflecopter 1792 said Cougars, more like boogers. That's a good one. Thank you for that.
I know I can't really look at it like I typically would. I don't have my second monitor. I'm eating Pringles to this right now. What kind of Pringles?
What kind of Pringles?
Yeah, someone said I'm eating Pringles. Llama Heist.
Oh,
Says that
at the very beginning. You're so right. Really, it's the sour cream and onion Pringles. There's no other good Pringles.
Logic says, why are my casters talking about Stadium?
Because we were waiting for the game to start and had nothing else good to talk about. I feel like we've talked about weirder things than a different mode in Overwatch.
We've talked about meat safety before.
We have talked about meat safety, you're right.
And
That's
how
a
to
really
cook your
point.
burgers.
Yeah. Maybe Stadium is a little bit more in league with what we should be talking about. Fight starts off. Odakur falls quite low from the Ashe pick, or from the Ashe shots, but doesn't get picked off. Odakur dives in the middle. Deflect isn't going to be able to protect him from that beam from Zarya, though. Does get picked off. Werewolf's able to follow up and find a second pick onto Amity this time. LTW tries to finish off the BAP, but Demo saves the BAP and has to back off, and does unfortunately get picked off because he got stuck on the wall. Gonna force a reset from Purdue.
Switching too far. I haven't seen them play far yet, so I'm interested to see how this goes.
I am interested to see how this goes too. I'm a little bit concerned. Okay, all right. Well, I was gonna say that going far into Ashe and BAP isn't a great idea, but obviously Odakur has proved me wrong. Great first pick on the Ashe. LTW uses that time to jump in, and Amity is able to finish off a Kiriko. Odakur continues to kind of chunk that damage in. LTW is able to finish off a pick onto Gabe and an M1, and all that's left is now the BAP that somehow LTW has found a way to continue chasing. I'm a little bit concerned about this. LTW is able to finish off the BAP though and gets back safely. Odakur is now in another 1v1 against the Ashe, but that's going to be a first cap for Purdue.
We do have a Mei swap on the side of the Cougars, though.
Pop gets popped. Unfortunately, the pop falls right into the back room, so not really gonna get any value there. But hey, you win some, you lose some. We see a blizzard comes out, yeah, from Cougars. Isn't able to find anybody. but that's gonna slow down the fight at the very least. Mercy Gamer Girl's currently in a really rough position on the side, but I don't think Cougars have noticed that they're there yet. The moment that they do, though, Mercy Gamer Girl is in deep trouble. Sumio is able to find a pick onto Amity. Wow. Okay, I'm really scared for Mercy Gamer Girl right now. Mercy Gamer Girl attempts to get back. Almost it does lose their life to M1, unfortunately, but Otakura is able to follow up with a second pick onto the Mei and onto Hazard. So actually, Purdue is up right now.
We do see Werewolf switch.
Good.
We do see Werewolf switch to Juno, and we do see a Hazard swap on the side of Cougars. So I'm curious to see how this will.
Yeah, the Juno is actually able to take out Otakura there, so it's obviously not a bad idea. So Sleep comes through onto Gabe, and then the boot from the Pharah causes the Mei to fall down below. Pharah Barrage gets popped, is able to finish off that Mei. Amity's able to find a pick onto Juno. Both teams are gonna kind of poke each other out right now. LTW is looking for a route to attack that high ground. Let's have to back out. But Otakura falls to some right clicks from the Mei. We see a Hazard ult get popped. Does unfortunately grab Mercy Gamer Girl, but they're able to live with the help of Ana. Squelks is getting attacked by the Mei though, and Bob comes through, and between Bob, Hazard, and the Mei, that's gonna finish off Purdue. They do have 2.5 minutes left.
I do think Purdue can just push it this little bit. They are going into this with 2 ults. They do have Nano and Overclock, so I do think they can definitely get some value off this.
Right. I think as long as they can get Amity to that high ground with the Nano Overclock, a lot of damage can come through.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Squelks can't follow Amity up here, so they're not going to be able to Nano from here. But we do see the Nano come through anyway onto somebody else, onto the Hazard.
And their Kiriko is down.
LTW is able to find a pick onto Libero. At the same time, Juno gets picked off by M1. Squelk follows up with a pick onto Mei, and LTW finds another pick onto Sumio. Man, picks back and forth from these Hazards on both teams right now. But it does look like Purdue is coming out on top with just M1 against Otakura, Squelks, and LTW.
That was a great nade by Squelks there.
Phenomenal nade.
And Sleep.
Mei ult does come down onto the point, isn't able to find anybody, but does force Purdue off of the point. Overclock gets popped from Amity. He's trying to find that pick onto the Ana or Ashe. LTW ult comes through, is able to find a pick onto lots of people. There's a lot of people dying right now. M1 is I think last to kind of try to hold on to this point, and it's gonna get melted by Purdue, and that's gonna be a map win for Purdue.
That was great by Purdue there. Especially, I think Squelks was doing really well in Ana there because he was able to get, like, after that Mei ult, one, like, pretty big nade, and that was able to, I think, help secure the win.
Yeah, absolutely. There been some phenomenal nades from Squelks. I do also want to call attention to Amity. Amity was popping off both this map and last map. Just had so many really impressive railguns that were able to finish off key targets, both at the beginning of fights and during Old Fest. So phenomenal plays by both of them there. So that's going to bring the current score to 1-1. Purdue versus Cougars.
Very even matchup we have here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to see it kind of go back and forth like this. Don't always have that in these matches.
I do think that we're going to see a push map, and I think it's going to be... I'm thinking Colosseo. I don't know. I'm having a feeling.
I have a feeling it's Colosseo. All right, well, I'll hold you to that. We can keep our fingers crossed for some Colosseo. I am really, really happy that Cougars used that Hazard ban on the first round, because I feel like LTW just plays such a good Hazard, and to have LTW on Hazard for the rest of these maps is going to be phenomenal.
I do think Hazard is his strongest tank that I've seen him play. I also think just Purdue White does good with dive.
Yeah. With the dive with either Otaku or on Reaper or on Genji, and Amity just kind of Amity can play in whatever comp that the rest of Purdue White wants to play in, and Amity will find picks in no matter what it is. So
Yeah.
it
I was wrong about map, but I'm thinking a Sojourn ban from at least Cougars.
I can definitely see a Soldier Bang come through. It is. I mean, Sumio on Sojourn was also doing pretty well. So I don't want to necessarily count that out, but I feel like the amount of value that Amity was getting probably made the Sojourn ban is the right choice. But we'll see.
Because I'm curious, like, either that or an Ana ban.
I can see an Ana ban because those nades were nasty on M1.
Yeah. See, I don't know what Purdue would ban. Maybe Zarya? I'm not sure because there wasn't.
So the thing is that I don't think that Zarya is great into Hazard.
Yeah.
And so it kind of makes it so that now that LCW can play Hazard as much as he wants, I don't think that they're gonna care too much about the Zarya. The Zarya was mainly just an issue when LCW didn't have his kind of go-to
Hazard.
Hazard. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're gonna
not
pick
sure
for a
either.
ban since maybe Lucio, but I think Purdue was able to figure out how to just shred the Lucio on their team as well.
Yeah, I agree. I I think a Lucio ban is actually somewhat likely because the only big fight that Purdue lost during that was because of a good play from Lucio booping and Squelks. And yes, in some ways Squelks was out of position there, and that could have been solved if Squelks was in a better position. But wasn't an easy thing to predict, and it was a play that I could see coming through more in future maps. So I think a Lucio ban wouldn't be bad for that reason either. But we'll see what White thinks is the best choice here. As you mentioned, Ana is going to get banned by Cougars.
I was gonna say those nades.
They were very impactful, and Cougars realizes that. Book says, "What did I do?"
Gulp. Too good looking. Good looking in the back.
I mean, well, okay. See, I was gonna say that maybe they would still want to ban Lucio, but Lucio actually cannot get banned because Purdue is not allowed to ban a second support now that a support has already been banned. So, wonder what the ban would look like.
I do love it when teams have good banter, though. It is fun.
Yeah, it's good. It's I don't know that I'd call this good banter. That feels like strange banter, if anything, but it
It's funny.
it is entertaining, to say the least. Rafflecopter says Purdue run him down. White team never loses these. And you were right, Rafflecopter. Purdue took him down. I do want to remind the commenters, unfortunately, that we are on a 3-minute delay. So I'm assuming that was in the middle of a critical fight, and we are replying to it several minutes afterwards. So
I've been trying
unfortunately,
to watch chat.
yeah, that's really fair. But yes,
Zarya. Is Zarya
Zarya.
banned from Purdue?
Okay, you did mention that might be something, and
Uh oh, they
fair.
said it's ball time.
Hmm. We'll
I don't think
see.
I've seen ball played on New Queen Street often.
I don't think I've ever seen a ball played on New Queen Street. No, I've seen it once. Seen it once before. But it is not necessarily a super common map for ball. I don't think. I mean, I don't know if there is a lot of common maps for ball. Ball is not a super common character, but
You see a lot of ball on our favorite map, Lijiang.
yeah, that's true. A lot of ball in Doom, considering those there's so many corners to get boops off of. More banter going down, but we should be headed into this next map fairly soon. If Cougars does actually come out on a ball, I would venture to say that Purdue's in a good spot, because
Yeah.
with Ana getting banned, that means Squokes is 110% going to be on Illari. Squokes only plays Illari and Ana, bless his soul, and so I think typically Illari is pretty good into ball, just because you've got a lot of sustain from that dive. So unless we see Cougars go a hard dive comp, probably okay.
I guess Squokes does only play Illari and Echo. I mean, Illari, not Illari, Echo. It's hard because Echo was like his second most played character. Illari and Ana, wow.
Illari and Ana, yeah. Squokes is certainly not a one trick, but a two trick, which is fine, and he plays them very, very well. So there's no complaints, but good for scenarios like this. And we do see Squokes as mentioned on Illari. What do you think of this map?
I have a love-hate relationship on it. Just because I think in quick play, it's fun. It's fine. In competitive, I absolutely hate it. It could be the rank I'm in.
Huh?
Because yeah, I don't know. What do you feel about it?
I'm not gonna lie, I despise this map. I feel like it's very poor push design, in that it kind of is just winding back and forth in a across the middle line of the map, and that causes you to oftentimes get caught in some weird positions by people that shouldn't really be on your section of the path.
Yeah.
But anyway, but both teams are going to come out. We see Pride and True comp on Purdue, except for Mercer Gamer Girl now on Wu Yang. We see M1 this time on Roadhog.
I am interested if Roadhog put into Hazard. I don't know, I feel like that LTW could get a really good pick on this Roadhog, just because LTW is so good at fighting in tanks at a close range.
Yeah, you're totally right, and we do see M1 drop quite low here. LTW is going to swap targets to the Wu Yang, but Squokes is able to finish off that Roadhog, and Amity is able to find a pick onto Kiriko before Odakur finds a pick onto the Cassidy. And LTW is going to finish off that fight. Very clean first fight from Purdue.
I just think I have something against push as a game mode.
Yeah,
I think that might be my problem.
It's a game mode that's very swingy, in that when a team starts winning at the beginning, it's kind of hard to stop them, and hopefully it's gonna play in Purdue's favor here.
Yeah.
We see Odakur taking a side angle, is able to get the Wu Yang low, and Amity finishes them off, but Odakur does lose their life in the process. LCW gets pulled in, but is able to get out. Purdue was able to get that first cap, which is going to be big. That means Odakur is able to spawn back a lot faster. The Purdue kind of playing out of this room, and because of that, Amity is able to find a pick onto the Cassidy. LTW dives on to Kiriko, who TP's out, but does use Suzu and TP in the process.
See, I do like Alari for these types of situations, though, because I feel like Alari is a great healer for push.
Yeah,
Just
that's totally
because
true.
of that.
We see Alari ult and Soldier ult gets popped at the same time. Amity is able to use the Alari ult to finish off that Soldier and keep that ult from getting any value. Cassidy at the same time as though is able to finish off Amity. Those teams are even at the moment. We see Hazard ult come out, is able to find 3, able to get an immediate pick onto the Cassidy. Oh, not able to finish off the Kiriko, and Odakur does try to pop the Blossom to finish off that Cassidy, or finish off the Kiriko. We see Roadhog ult and Wu Yang ult get popped, and Cougars come out on top of that fight.
Good first push from Purdue, though. 96 meters.
Absolutely. That's a big distance. To get that forward spawn, too. Huge.
Yeah. I do think another slight issue with this map is once you get, like, pushing towards that enemy spawn, that, like... So there's this first curve, and then there's like that second, like really sharp angular curve.
Yes.
Makes it really hard.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. We see Amity find a pick onto Libero Kiriko on the side of Cougars. Odakur does drop low, but doesn't get hooked in, so it doesn't get finished off. Odakur is going to try to follow that Wu Yang. They're going to get out, but that's okay. A lot more room was earned from that. LTW is going to push that high ground. See if they can get any room there. Pops wall in order to stop the hook from coming through. LTW jumps in, gets the Amity pops overclock. We see a Cassidy ult come through. Cassidy gets immediately burned down by the Sojourn ult. Wu Yang ult comes on to LTW and picks onto Roadhog, Kiriko, and finally Soldier finish off the fight. Wu Yang pops ult onto themselves in the backline, is able to stun Mercy Gamer Girl, isn't able to get the pick. I think Werewolf is staggered. Yeah, well, Werewolf just staggered himself really hard there. LTW is quite low because of the fact that the Wu Yang went to the back, and Kiriko ult comes through, able to finish off LTW. Axe comes through and finishes off Amity. Odakur and Squawks are just kind of playing their life here as they're finishing off. I think Odakur is staggering a little bit, yeah. But Purdue did get some more push there. I think the Wu Yang all ended up working out better than I expected it to, because it just kind of dragged Purdue back. We
do see Werewolf change on to Moira.
That's going to be an interesting change. Hopefully, probably to help survive a little bit better against that LTW, because getting some nasty dives in.
I will say LTW has been really good with these walls and blocking off the other team.
Right.
And then just being able to dive their backline.
We do see a Hazard ult come through, is able to trap several of them, but isn't able to get any picks on any of them. Odakur pops ults in an attempt to finish off those picks, but isn't able to finish them. But both LCW and all of Cougars is very low right now. Amity is able to utilize that fact and is able to find the Kiriko. LTW pops wall in order to keep himself alive. And it's really just the Queen that's one shot on the payload. Gonna attempt to get out of this fight, but Purdue's able to finish her off.
Amity got in that backline and was deadly. Because what I've noticed with Queen is Queen has a hard time being able to defend her backline.
Yeah. Queen's really only ability that she has to kind of protect people is just that shout, and so if she's not next to her backline when they're getting dived, that shout does nothing. We do see Soldier ult and Darker Queen ult come through. Soldier's able to find a pick onto Odakur, and Darker Queen's able to find a pick onto Mercy Gamer Girl, and then Werewolf finishes off LCW as the team gets split. It's just Amity and folks attempting to get out of it with their life. Unfortunately, fall to the Darker Queen.
Purdue is going into this next fight with 3 ults, in which they the other team only has 1 ult, but are coming up on 2 more.
Unfortunately,
I think this will be a really good advantage for Purdue.
2 of Purdue's members come out of the short spawn, and that's going to lead to Odakur's death. Mercy Gamer Girl somehow hides away from the rest of the team. Odokur gets a little bit staggered. LTW is able to contest and stop that forward spawn, but in that time, M1 and Cassidy are able to find 2 picks. Amity follows up with an overclock, finishing off M1. But without another pick, it's going to be a little bit hard to finish for Purdue. Odokur is forced to fade out. Unfortunately, doesn't get out with their life. Purdue doesn't have a bad spot here, though, just poking from the high ground. We see Captive Sum come through onto the Illari. It's not enough damage to finish off the Illari, but LCW is able to find a pick onto Kiriko. Cassidy finds a pick onto Amity, and LCW finishes back that pick onto Cassidy. LCW jumps in, attempting to finish off Sumio, isn't able to find the pick, but does force the team back.
Odokur falling really low here as well as LTW.
Werewolf and Queen are trying to get an angle onto LTW here, but with that Illari pylon, it doesn't do much. Werewolf. Okay, we see a Soldier ult come through as well as Darker Queen ult. Amity's able to find a pick onto Cassidy, but M1 is able to find a pick onto Squelks. LTW jumped off the map, I think, and Odokur falls to the Soldier. I wasn't watching L2W. Did you see what happened?
No, I actually didn't.
Okay.
I was too busy watching Amity run from the rest of the Cougars.
Maybe it was on purpose because the fight was basically lost. I'm not totally clear or not. But Amity is able to find a pick on Sumio. Purdue still has lead here. They're doing a good job of holding every single time that Cougar comes through. Hazard ult does come through, is able to find the Junker Queen and the Moira, that's able to build that pick onto the Moira. Junker Queen falls soon afterwards to Squelks. Amity does fall to the Helix rockets from Soldier.
We didn't check out the ranks of the other team. We'll have to do that after this. But I'm curious, like, because this is a very close matchup between Purdue and Cougars.
Absolutely. It definitely feels like both teams are playing at their best, and that's a pretty even matchup. We do see Moira ult come through onto LTW. LTW does get wing ulted. Stun comes through, and Cassidy popped ult in an attempt to finish off LTW, but the stun comes through onto LTW. Reaper Blossom gets popped as well as M1's Junker Queen ult. Several picks coming through on both sides, but I think Purdue's coming out on top. It's just M1 and Sumio against Hazard, Squelks, and Amity. But they're having trouble finishing off M1. We do see Overclock come through to try to finish off that Junker Queen. Is able to find the pick.
Sumio was just trying to stay alive for the rest of the team. Squelks pops ult.
Sumio pops ult in an attempt to kind of try to finish off this fight. The touch does come through from Werewolf, but Sumio gets picked off. Kiriko Rush comes through. And that's gonna be all the picks for Purdue, and should be a win for, yeah, that's a map win for Purdue.
That was great.
That was great. Yeah, it felt like Purdue got like 2 attack pushes during that entire time, and they just got so much room from those attacks that, despite the fact they didn't really have any good attacks after that, they were just able to keep fending off, kind of just defending their lead from the Cougars' attack for the rest of the match, and it served them well.
We do see a play of the game from Squelks here.
Focus on that Illari is a scary feat. Gonna bring the score total to Purdue 2, Cougars 1. So this is last map territory if Purdue can find that last map win. That they...
Let's see what we can pick from. Predict our maps. I don't know about... I don't think a flashpoint. Maybe an escort Havana?
Purdue White does seem to really like Havana. I feel like we've seen them pick Havana several times.
But Cougars has choice, correct? Oh, Servasa.
Tsubasa. All right, well, Flashpoint it is.
See, I do like Servasa after the rework, especially like the room with like the lily pads in the water. I like how they changed that top bit.
Yeah, no, I like it a lot. I feel like the map. I don't know if it really is a better like for the gameplay, but I think it looks really.
Yeah. See, I want to see a competitive team play on Atlas, but I feel like nobody's like completely comfortable with that map yet to pick it.
Yeah, I like Atlas a lot. I feel like Atlas is probably the best Flashpoint map in my opinion. But you're right. People don't really have experience with the map, and that makes it a little difficult to be confident in playing competitively. But
I'm trying to predict the bans. It's really hard because there's been already a lot of bans.
yeah, as we're getting into these late phases of the late maps of the game of the match, bans definitely get a little bit more complex because a lot of the main bans that you would have expected get taken out already. Maybe we'll see the Lucio ban. Because
Or
that was kind of an issue
Kiriko?
beforehand. Kiriko would make a lot of sense.
Oh,
I
Lucio.
could see Junker Queen, Lucio. All right.
My whole thing with the Kiriko was like Squelks playing Ana again.
Yeah, that's really fair. But well, that's a fair point because with the Lucio not around, Squelks is going to be more interested in playing Ana than they were before.
Yeah.
Cougars is
And
banning
that
Sojourn.
Sojourn.
Yeah, that's probably the right choice
Amity's been getting a lot of
considering
picks.
Amity's been doing a ton of work on Sojourn. Um, I've
What
I've
else?
got confidence that Amity can find the picks even without their favorite character, but that is going to be tough.
Genji being the second highest hero for Amity.
I mean,
So,
Genji would be a nice combo with LCW's Hazard. That would be a really
yeah.
nice way to make it in kind of a full dive situation if Udakur plays Reaper. I would love to see that.
I'm curious to see. Cause yeah, I don't think have we seen a Sojourn ban? I don't think we have.
Like this match
This
or
just in general
oh in general?
for Purdue. Cause I feel like I would have remembered what
I
they
can't
were
think of a
playing.
time when we had a Sojourn ban, but Amity's been doing well in a lot of these games, so I would
Yeah.
kind of be surprised if at some point in time somebody didn't ban a Sojourn. Little birdie told me that Purdue Black team runs Atlas every game. Is that true? That's Hold on, maybe we need to start casting Purdue Black.
For Black.
I wanna see some Atlas.
I'm seeing if any of the other teams have played Atlas today.
Initiating match.
Nobody's played Atlas today. I am excited to see what we're playing on Servasa, though.
Ready for battle.
We see a Juno Kirk on the side of... Wait. Werewolf and Matrix switch?
Oh,
We have
You're
like
right.
a big switch around here. Of Matrix is playing Genji.
I didn't know they
Werewolf
could do
is
that.
playing tank.
I thought they had to be on the same role.
I don't know.
I assume since they're doing it, that's legal. But that is a big difference, and it's gonna
Yeah.
put Werewolf onto a Rhine, and one on a Genji. This is interesting.
And then Gabe goes on to Juno. I'm curious to see how this goes.
Rhine is certainly a lot more challenging of a matchup for Hazard, so we'll see if LTW can
Yeah.
pull out the same value here. See a pin come through. Werewolf isn't able to find anything with the pin, but is likely going to be able to get out with his life just fine. They're kind of using that speed to bait out LTW. Another pin comes through, but Werewolf drops really low and does get picked off by LTW. LTW is doing a good job of kind of being patient and letting Rhine overextend there. That pick is going to allow Purdue to push in. Odakur does get picked off, but Squokes finds a follow-up pick back on the Libero. That's going to give first cap to Purdue.
I do find the switch up interesting here very late into the match.
It is interesting. It probably means that that Cougars felt a little bit unsteady about how that last map went, and they wanna shake some things up. I do love to see run gameplay, so
Yeah.
LCW is able to find a wall onto Werewolf and just tries to burn them down a little bit. Werewolf does go for a pin. Doesn't look like they can find anything with the pin. LCW jumps onto the backline, isn't able to find any picks. Sumio finds two picks, one onto Amity and another one on a Mercy Gamer Girl. Shatter comes through onto LTW. Odakur finds the pick onto Libero and the Reinhardt. Gabe falls back up with a pick onto Odakur. I just realized Gabe was also on Cassidy before, and now switched on to support. So lots of changes, but we see the cap come through for Cougars. But Purdue only really needs to win one more fight in order to gain this point.
Yeah. I think Purdue can do it. I just think they need to... Because right now they're playing very separated.
Right. Amity's able to find a pick onto M1 there.
They are able to isolate the Rhine.
Right, but the Rhine gets isolated because LTW doesn't die there. And that's able to finish off that pick onto the Rhine. I do think with how slow Purdue moved there, though, there's going to definitely be another fight here. The 75 is not enough to guarantee no more fights. LTW does find a pick on Sumio, but the wall comes through onto Reinhardt, isn't able to finish off the kill. Odakur gets picked off. We see Hazard ult and Genji ult come through, as well as Juno ult and Ilari ult. Squelk's looking for that sunrise. I am in the top of the map. Amity and Squelks are able to both find picks. Soldier ult comes through, Shatter comes through. Shatter isn't able to find anything. Soldier ult's looking for a pick, is able to find a pick on the Squelks. LTW is able to finish off Sumio. Odakur blossoms, unfortunately can't find anything, but doesn't die, and we are proud of Odakur for that. Odakur does find the last pick onto Juno, and that's going to finish off that first point for Purdue.
I will say, Amity is not letting the Sojourn ban phase her at all.
No, Amity's doing a fantastic job despite having their main character banned. I'm kind of surprised we don't see Amity on the Genji like you mentioned, but they're doing a great job on Soldier.
I do feel like Soldier and Soldier play very similarly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just really that healer rocket set up the Rogun. We do see where
Yeah.
we'll find a pick onto Odakur. Now on the Orisa, which might present a little bit of a challenge. You see Amity pop Visor. Unfortunately, the only target right now is an Orisa, so it's going to make it really hard for Amity to get value out of this Visor. Isn't able to find any kills with it. FTW is dropping a little bit low on that front line, really just having to face tank the Orisa. Not a great matchup for him. Sumio is able to find a remaining pick onto Mercy Gamer Girl, and then M1 finds the follow-up onto Odakur.
Squelks will hopefully get out of this alive.
I don't think so, yeah.
No. This is gonna This is gonna really separate Squawks from the rest of the group.
It is. Hopefully Purdue can just kind of chill here for a little bit until they get back.
And Squawks is back. So hopefully we get a big push by Purdue.
Core and LTW kind of walking up that main hallway, gaining control. We do see a soldier visor come through from Sumio. Is able to find a pick down to Amity. Hazard ult comes through. Is unable to find any picks. We see the Orisa ult come through as well as the Juno ult, and that's gonna finish the point for, or finish off the fight for Cougars. Likely causing a point win for Cougars. I don't think there's any chance that Purdue retouches this. Folks falls last. Edicor tries to fight for a little bit. I'm a little bit scared for them. They're really get out.
I do think Purdue can pull this through though.
LTW switches on to the Orisa just to mirror. I can understand the thought process. I'm not sure I'm super excited about it because I feel like, I don't know. LTW is very good at those dive tanks and rush tanks, and this is just a big switch up. But I've got faith. Amity's able to find a pick onto Juno, and at the same time Sumio finds a pick onto Odakor. We see BAP window get popped, keep LTW alive and provide some extra pressure.
I don't know.
Almost it's able to find a pick onto the enemy Orisa.
I don't know if we've noticed this. I don't know when this exactly happened, but we did see Matrix switch on to a Freya.
Oh, you're right. The Freya's gonna be.
I noticed the ult.
Yeah, Freya is a pretty good DPS into a lot of the Purdue's backlines, so
yeah,
we'll see if that is an issue. Werewolf is able to find a pick onto Odakur with that spear. Purdue's doing a good job of kind of playing this high ground though, so hopefully that can allow Purdue to hold on to this point. LTW does have to drop down in order to keep the point alive, but it's going to drop really low from all that damage and does get finished off. Fortunately, Purdue is in a rough spot here because now they're likely going to get staggered as they're trying to make their way back to spawn. We see Odakur pop ult is able to find a pick onto Libero. Orisa pops ult and finishes off the rest of the team now. So overall net win for for Cougars there.
I do say it. The thing with Freya is her strength is her biggest weakness, so hopefully Amity is able to use that to her advantage.
We see Soldier ult and Curicle ult come through, and that's going to force a fight win for Cougars there as the two very good ults together finish them off. Bucks does actually find a post-mortem kill onto Libero, but unfortunately it's going to finish off the team for Cougars. Vertical is tempting to touch. Yeah, Vertical not going to be able to touch. And that's going to be a next point win for Hold. That was a little racially motivated. M1 pops ult onto LTW as they're running away, and is gonna get a little staggered there onto LTW. I don't know if that had any real value game wise, considering the team was already needing to group back up anyway, but that's okay. Next point is going to open up in 10 seconds. Go ahead.
I will say we have Purdue going in with 3 ults and Cougars only having 1, so hopefully Purdue can use this to their advantage. Just get into that center and be able to use the Orisa ult and pull everybody in.
Yeah, the Orisa ult's kind of going through, right as you mentioned, able to find a pick onto M1 and onto Sumio. Cougars is going to get that first cap, but likely Purdue, Purdue's finishing off all the remaining picks, so they're going to be able to get that cap right back. Cougars got, what, 15% off that first point, which is nothing, but
yeah.
Likely not going to be a big deal in the...
We do see Squelk switching on to Ana, so hopefully this will be able to help them counter this Orisa.
Right. The only thing is that they do have that Kiriko cleanse.
Yeah. I do think this Orisa has been the biggest problem for Purdue this match.
I agree. The Orisa is just really good at slowing down the fast pace that Purdue likes to play at.
Yeah.
We see June ult come through onto that main choke. We see Orisa ult and Soldier ult get popped. Not finding any picks from either side, which is good for Purdue considering how powerful Juno ult is. Otakura does fall, but is able to get Juno in the process. Unfortunately, Werewolf is able to burn down LTW. Amity's able to get a counter pick back onto Sumio. And Amity and Mercy Gamer Girl both fall. It's going to lead to a point win for Cougars. But Purdue got 94% there.
Yep. We do see Matrix switching on to Symmetra for this point, which I find interesting. I do feel like Symmetra is very good on this map, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I like Symmetra a lot here, especially against this Orisa.
Yeah.
The Orisa's taken the perk where she has that shield, and that's really easy for Symmetra to charge value off of. Is the LTW drop down to the point? Symmetra wall does get popped, and so LTW has to back out.
Otakura gets a pick and survives.
Spoke slightly too soon. Unfortunately, you jinxed Otakura. But no, Otakura is able to find a pick onto the Juno, and that. We do see the Soldier ult come through. LTW is forced to kind of go to point in order to touch, but does have ult. Is able to almost get a pick onto the Symmetra, but not. LTW is able to touch again. We see Kiriko ult come through, and that's gonna likely finish off the point and finish off the map for Cougars.
This has been a close one.
It has been a really close one. I don't think we've casted a match that's been this close.
We are going into the last round. That's wild.
Unless the team somehow find a way to draw the last round, which the last round has to be escort, right? I think.
Yep.
So I don't think there's really a way to tie escort unless you're trying really hard.
I've done it once. It is so impossibly hard to tie it.
I believe the only way is just to get it to a checkpoint and then to stop the team from ever moving it after that checkpoint. Is that right? On both sides?
I think I had it which both teams were able to push it all the way. Like in both matches. Like in both
And on both both the initial attacks?
like both the initial things, and then we went into like that third and the fourth round,
Mm-hmm.
and then we were all able to push it completely. That
And
was like a 30-minute match.
That ends in a draw?
I'm pretty sure it did. It's been so long.
I was under the impression that if both teams pushed it all the way in that third and fourth round, then it would add another like a fifth and sixth round of 1 minute
Does
each.
it?
But
Let's see.
I think there's a little bit of confusion about map picks. Purdue wanted to pick Samoa. That is not an escort
See,
map.
I see Havana. I think Havana Purdue is gonna pick.
Yeah.
I didn't actually know this, that some payloads move slower than others.
I did hear about that recently. Every payload has their own speed, their own base speed, and then I believe every payload though has the same multiplier from having multiple people on it, and that the payload goes 1.5 times faster with 2 people and 1.67 times faster with 3, or something like that. But yeah, it is different for every map, which
Yeah.
makes sense in some ways considering different maps have to have different path lengths, so they've got to kind of account for that with the speed. But
Yeah, I don't actually. Okay, so no, that's hybrid. I swear that. a lot of people say that they believe you can. Yes, if you get stuck at the same like checkpoint, you can draw.
Right.
It's so weird.
I think that the key factor is that you've got to be both both teams attacking have to get to the exact same point, and you can't get to the exact same point unless it is like a locked location, like a checkpoint.
Yeah.
You can't like get it to exactly 5.7 meters, and the other team gets it to 5.7 meters, because if the other team gets it to 5.7 meters, they're probably going to get it 5.71 or 5.69, and the game isn't going to try to distinguish if they got exactly or slightly over. It's just going to give the second team the win.
Yeah. Which is, it's so wild. Because I swear I've had it happen. I wish I still had the match code for that, because that was a wild match.
You see Purdue banning Curie. They're going to help out Squawks on Ana to be able to get more value on those nades. I think it's a good ban. I'm almost surprised they didn't ban Orisa. I would have thought that would be an equally good ban, but I can see Curie. Amity is going to be allowed back onto the Sojourn this game. It's going to be exciting. I think that Havana is a very good map for Sojourn. So
yeah. Just hopefully Purdue can hold that high ground.
Mm-hmm. This is also a very good Widow map. I don't know. I don't think that we have really any players on Purdue White that would want to take advantage of that. I don't know the Cougars team well enough to know if they would want to take advantage of that, but I've seen this map, especially in that first and third point, that really held hostage by Widows in the lobby.
I think we've seen Otakar try Widow a few times on King's Row.
Yes, you're right.
But I think his
in
typical
that
pick
opening
for this map is Reaper.
Yeah.
Wonder if our audience knows if this can end in a draw.
If you know the exact situations in which Escort can end in a draw, drop them in the chat and we'll fact check you. Or you can fact check us.
Pretty much.
Looks like Cougars is banning Zarya? That's a
interesting ban.
So, well, it's an interesting ban because Purdue didn't play Zarya except for that like one round at the beginning. But also double interesting ban because we already had a ban against Zarya. So I didn't think we could get a second ban against Zarya. But hey, I'm not gonna rule check him. Oh, they are swapping sides. Okay. So once again, Cougars are opting to swap sides here so that they get defense first. So you're gonna see the banners on both sides swap. Obviously, scores will be the same because it's still 2-2, but I need to fix the bans real quick.
Traveling to Havana.
Sides should be properly swapped. We've got Purdue on the right side and Cougar on the left side. Purdue is going to be attacking first in this map.
Initiating match.
I love casting because prior to the match starting, I get to see all these different details in the maps that I never would have seen before. Like if you come to the second point, like as the attackers are moving into this first turn, there's like this weird control panel. It says Proceso de Elaboración. I don't know what language that is, and I don't know what that's saying. I'm thinking it's Spanish. It seems like some kind of a chemical engineering thing with fermentation, distillation, and whatever mezcla. If there's any Spanish speakers in the chat that want to translate this, that'd be great. I am a chemical engineer by trade, so I feel like this could be interesting to me, but
What word did
I
you
don't know
say?
what it says. Mezcla, MEAZCLA.
The worst part is I speak French.
French and Spanish have some similar words, but that feels like a
Mezcla
unique one.
means mix in Spanish, according to Google
Ah,
Translate.
okay.
Mixture, blend, or mix, according
makes
to Google
sense.
Translate. Which Google Translate isn't the most or
Yeah.
ever reliable, but
We do see both tanks coming on to Sigma. So the Sigma mirror matchup is kind of fun. Sigma is very good on this map, so it doesn't totally surprise me there. Obviously, we see Amity on Sojourn. We see Mercy Gamer Girl on Ana, and we do see Otakur on Widow, like you were mentioning. It's gonna be fun to see a new pick there.
Yeah.
LTW tries to find the shield behind Werewolf, but isn't able to finish off that pick. M1 on Sim is going to be a little bit of an issue. Werewolf is able to find a pick onto Otakur. Rock comes through onto Werewolf.
we do see Mercy Gamer Girl on Ana, which is very interesting. That we have Mercy Gamer Girl on Ana, and then we have Squelks on Alari. Otakur goes Echo.
Immediate swap there. Demio is able to find a pick onto Otakur. Was able to find a pick earlier too onto, I think. Purdue's having a lot of trouble pushing around this first corner. It's a lot of damage coming through from Cougars, and LTW shield doesn't last too long. We do see wow, that's super early. Gravitic Flux come out from Werewolf. Isn't actually able to find any picks. LTW drops really low though, and the Rock is gonna finish him off.
We do see
Visor coming through from Tumio. Go ahead.
We do see Otakur switch to Tracer, but gets Visored. Hopefully, Otakur will be able to. Oh, well,
Big
we see
swaps
Otakur
coming
switch
through.
to Genji.
Otakur swaps
we have
against and
Monkey.
LTW swaps onto Monkey. Kind of surprised he didn't just swap onto on a Hazard, but
Yeah.
Monkey's good too. Monkey's gonna be great for the sim. Gonna kind of play around the payload. Does get rocked back, so it's gonna have to slow down his push a little bit. But we've swapped completely to a dive in order to better fit the team that we're going against. It squawks on Alari, pops ult, unfortunately gets blocked by the palm tree. And so Alari ult doesn't do anything. Juno ult comes through on the side of Cougars. That's going to allow Werewolf to find a pick onto Otakur. LTW is not going to get out with their life. Gonna force a reset for Purdue. Mercy Gamer Girl is really in a rough spot here, and unfortunately does get picked off.
Squelks is able to make it back into spawn.
And when he pops Overclock in an attempt to get some picks here, unfortunately the Sig Shield does cause some issues for that. Pops quite low, and isn't able to get any value out of that Overclock.
We do see Nano on the side of Purdue here.
LTW is looking for a time to jump in here, but is really struggling with how much damage is coming through from Cougars. Does get nanoed in order to force that jump in, but the Gravitic Flux comes on to solo ult LTW. Going to really stop him from getting any value out of that nano. Follow-up picks come through onto all of the Purdue members. Except for Amity, I suppose. But there's the last one. Gonna force a reset for Purdue. It's getting into a little bit of dire times. LW is really struggling to find a dive here just because he's getting pressured out with so much poke before these dives even start.
He is able to touch the high ground though.
Right, that's going to be great for positioning to be up there. The core does get dropped quite low from the Soldier Visor, and Werewolf is able to find that pick on LDW, and that's gonna. Oh, Purdue did actually get a touch, but unfortunately, still gonna end with a really early hold from Cougars in this last point. That's really tough spot to be in. Usually teams are not able to full hold that. I don't think you see that very often.
Initiating match.
Purdue really just weren't able to find their footing. It's tough because this is the totally different comp than what Cougars have been playing all match, and so I think Purdue just hasn't had a lot of experience against this comp before, and we're really struggling to find a way to crack it. They just kind of kept trying to force it down the middle, and unfortunately that didn't work very well against the Sigma and double poke.
I do think them switching up what tank, like who's playing tank, was really vital for Cougars.
Yeah,
Did you see? Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I like initially when Werewolf swapped on a tank, they were playing Rhine, and I didn't feel like the Rhine was super great, and I thought that maybe that the tank swap was gonna play in favor of Purdue, but they've been doing a great job on Sigma, and that's really been making Purdue struggle a little bit.
We do see a Mercy coming out from Mercy Gamer Girl.
That's gonna be helpful.
Hopefully those reses.
Right, because
Those reses will be huge.
Purdue has to hold really far up here, and so that they really can't afford to lose any picks, and that those reses are going to be an important way to keep that hold alive. Cougars are immediately going to go through the left side here. They're opting to go a different route than what Purdue went when they were attacking. TP does come up onto the high ground, and that's going to force a little bit of pressure onto Squelks, but Squelks is able to force the sim back down. LTW does get kind of isolated from this though, but Ana and Mercy are able to keep him alive for the time being. But with that sim beam charging up, that might not be true for long. Ana, it does find a nade onto M1 and onto Werewolf, and that's going to force a lot of picks on both sides. LTW does fall, as well as Sumiyo. Mercy Gamer Girl falls next, and it's just Amity now against 3 Cougars players.
Unfortunately, that's the cap.
That was a really rough last match or last map. That's gonna give the final points that Cougars needs to win this matchup. That's really tough. That last map felt different than what the previous ones did. I don't know that Purdue did a poor job of defending. It's just that their attack was so
That Sigma stood strong.
he did stand strong, and it made their attack really not move much, and so it didn't give them a lot of wiggle room.
Yeah.
To work with. But it was still a great series on both sides. We're proud of our Purdue white players and how they played all the same.
I do think it was very good and very even on both sides. It was just an unfortunate ending.
That's all right. Thank you all so much for joining us this week, and hopefully we will see you next week for another match with Purdue White or whatever team ends up being casted. Have a good week.